Thank you. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that I've been going all this time and I had no audio. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, CP. All right. I was sitting here talking to myself and I mean, I was going on and on and on and on and on. And all right. So I'm going to do the chime over again. So, yes, moments of silence. And silence is it's golden. It's a good thing. I remember when I was a little wee one, and I shared with you before, my father said that I was talking before I even came into the world. It was on purpose. It was on purpose, Mari. My father said that I was talking as I was coming down my mother's birth canal. And I talked and talked and talked, and my late teens, early teens, adolescent, uh, 19, 20, 21, I talked all the time. I remember I had this one boyfriend when I was about 21 and he was 26 or 27. And one day he just said to me, you know, silence is golden. Enjoy the silence. And I was like, what? But I have so much to say. And then eventually, as I've gotten older, and I think it wasn't until I got on the other side of 40 that I don't talk nearly as much as I used to. And I really do enjoy a lot of deep, deep, deep seated silence. Okay, so let's go ahead and revisit the bell, okay? Because I think it's good for all of us to hear it. And what happened was I did have the mic off and the desktop audio off because I had my Streamlabs OBS set up. But what I did was I was listening to someone else's video and watching the monitor, the sound waves go back and forth kind of disturbed me. So I went ahead and turned the mics off. So CB says, I thought she was trying to be cryptic. I was, CB. I was trying to get you guys to engage your telepathic powers so that we could connect that way. Okay? So we need to work on this. All right. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep centering breath and welcome us into this sacred space. There you go. There you go. Welcome, Jasmine. Welcome. And see, I had it on silence and all of that because I was waiting for Jasmine to come in because I knew we really couldn't start until Jasmine got here. Okay. So, let's see. So I have with us today Animal Spirit Deck, which I completely forgot that I had. Um, and we're going to pull some cards today to get in touch with our wild unknown as we end this year and begin a new year. You know, one of the many years that we begin in the Gregorian year or Julian calendar, however you say it, I have no idea. Yes, we do know it is an artificially constructed year, but on this physical realm, we acknowledge it. You do what you want with it, but we constantly have new opportunities to tap into energy and to create changes, to create a new direction in our life. And so we can get an animal spirit card to go along with that. And as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by CB saying that there was no sound. I was about to show you guys, you know, I was just joking, CB, when I just said that. Grab your favorite beverage. Grab your favorite beverage. And in my cup, I have masala chai. This is homemade masala chai, or as most Americans know it as, chai tea, which I never use the term chai tea because it's basically redundant. You're like saying tea, because chai is tea in Hindi, cha in Chinese. And this is black tea with black peppercorn, clove, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, and vanilla in mine. This is just my own homemade concoction. People put many different spices in it. I even sometimes put turmeric, and it is so good. And I ran out of my goat's milk powder, so I had to borrow a cup of whole milk, and I made it extra creamy. And the great thing about when you make this is the Ayurvedic blend of the black pepper and all the spices. I don't know what it does, but it makes the caffeine not as profound. It's just warming and healing to the body. So, and probably a much better option than black coffee. So grab your cup and let's join. And I wish I could give you guys a cup. You guys got to come visit me. Come visit me at my shop, and I will make tea for Jasmine. You're not that far from me. You're not that far. You're probably like maybe an hour and a half, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so it is so good. I know I'm being rude. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we are on hexagram number 32 today, and we're going to look at our 64 phases of awakening. But before we begin with that, we're going to bring out our Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, and this particular translation is by Ursula Le Guin. And I'm going to see where. Okay. So I spanned the pages and just decided to randomly stop at a page. Mari says, whoop, I am on my way with her earth icon and airplane. I love that. I love that. We have our new symbolic way of speaking in this 21st century with emoticons. So we are chapter 13 in the Tao Te Ching, and we're going to begin. Shameless. To be in favor or disgrace is to live in fear. To take the body seriously is to admit one can suffer. What does that mean? To be in favor or disgrace is to live in fear. Favor debases. We fear to lose it. Fear to win it. So to be in favor or disgrace is to live in fear. What does that mean? To take the body seriously is to admit one can suffer. I suffer because I'm a body. If I weren't a body, how could I suffer? So people who set their bodily good before the public could be entrusted with the commonwealth. And people who treated the body politic as gently as their own body would be worthy to govern the commonwealth. And I will go ahead and share with you the footnotes at the bottom. Lao Tzu, a mystic, demystifies political power. Autocracy and oligarchy foster the beliefs that power is gained magically and retained by sacrifice, and that powerful people are genuinely superior to the powerless. Lao Tzu does not see political power as magic. He sees rightful power as earned and wrongful power as usurped. He does not see power as a virtue, but as a result, but as the result of virtue. The democracies are founded on that view. He sees sacrifice of self or others as a corruption of power, and power as available to anybody who follows the way. This is a radically subversive attitude. No wonder anarchists and Taoists make good friends. So that was chapter 13. And we will look to John C.H. Wu, which is another shambolic translator. So number 13. And for those of you who can read Mandarin, there you go. Welcome disgrace as a pleasant surprise. Prize calamities as your own body. Why should we welcome disgrace as a pleasant surprise? Because a lowly state is a boon. Getting it is a pleasant surprise, and so is losing it. That is why we should welcome disgrace as a pleasant surprise. Why should we prize calamities as our own body? Because our body is the very source of our calamities. If we have no body, what calamities can we have? Hence, only he who is willing to give his body for the sake of the world is fit to be entrusted with the world. Only he who can do it with love is worthy of being the steward of the world. So there you go. There you go. So as I mentioned before, we are on hexagram number 32. Hexagram number 32. And this is one of Benabel Wynn's cards. It comes with her I Ching practitioner's course, which is all PDF files, and of course you print out the cards yourself. And I don't know if I've ever shown, this is the back of the card. She provides a multitude of various backings, various images, and then you can personalize the deck how you want. And I chose this back for my deck. And this is like a 5x7, I believe, or a 4.5x7. So our hexagram is number 32, endurance. And according to Ma Padma Devi, this hexagram, she translates it as duration. And this is from the Tao Oracle. So duration. And the key words are constancy, continuity, endurance, perseverance, maturity, strengthening, stability, a deep connection. And as we look at this hexagram, the imagery of it is thunder over wind. Thunder over wind. And so we're going to look at the two bagua that make up this hexagram. We're going to start at the bottom with wind. And as we remember, hexagram, the interpretation, translation begins from the bottom line and works its way up to the top. So we start with the lower, and I am so sorry that the, what do you call it? The focus is not the greatest on this. There, it was almost there. Okay, so we have yin line and a double yang line. So that's we have the feminine yin and the yang, two masculine. Then we have masculine line and two feminine line. It's sort of like a complete reversal, sort of like the opposite build up of this wind and thunder. So wind, shun, wind, shun. Gentle thoughts, entering gently, proceeding conscientiously, flexibility, adaptability, influence, sensitivity, responsiveness, pervasiveness, assimilation, Wu Jing, wood, Wu Jing, direction, southeast, season, winter solstice, the Lo Shu, 9 hall season, cardinal spring. The winter solstice is the yellow path. Okay. Life aspect, wealth, finances, assets. Medically, it's related to the thighs, legs, respiratory system, parasympathetic nervous system, large intestine, depression, mental wellness, chakra, sacral chakra, animal, fowl. Archetype, the martial artist, the immortal, Gu, patron of women diviners, female miracle workers, sorceresses, and witches. And thunder, Zhen, thunder. Which if you, well, is wind noisy? Is wind in it of itself noisy, or is it only you hear it because it reverberates off of something else? I don't know. That's something to think about. Because I was just thinking, if you're on the ocean and the wind is blowing, do you hear it, or do you hear it because it's skimming the surface of the water? So therefore you hear it. I have no idea. Anyway, let me not chase that butterfly. Thunder, Jin. To shake or arouse, inciting movement, taking the initiative, excitation. I love that word, excitation. Revolution, division, and impetus, catalyst, stimulation, impulse. Wuxing, the same element, wood. Direction, east, yellow path, summer solstice, Lo Shu 9 halls, cardinal autumn. Life aspect, family, ancestry, medically related to the foot, legs, tendons, gallbladder, liver, sensory motor system, sympathetic nervous system, physical pain. So in other words, one of the reasons why Benebell includes, the life aspect, the seasons, the medical relations, the chakras, the animals, so that in your practice and in your own personal meditations or conjurings, however you have it, you can invoke that energy, bring that energy through, tap into the energy of thunder. Having issues with your foot, your legs, your gallbladder, physical pain, your nervous system, tap into the energy of thunder. The throat chakra, dragon is the animal. The archetype is the emperor. The immortal is Cao Zhou, patron of nobles and aristocracies. So that is thunder. Thunder. Okay, and all right. So we're going to check in with Kursan Hong, and let's get one last look at him for this year. Thank you, Master Hong, for your amazing literal translation. Here's a little bit of information about him. Born in China, Kursan Hong is professor of physics at MIT. In I Ching the Oracle, he departs from his customary activities in theoretical physics in order to revisit the Chinese classic, which he has loved since he was a boy. There you go. So number 32. And of course, we get from his beautiful scientific mind an exact literal interpretation, for which I am so grateful. So Dr. Hong translated thunder, hexagram 32, as steadfastness, sign of the sacrifice, no troubles, auspicious omen, auspicious for going somewhere. And as always, translations or when you approach the I Ching, you start from the bottom and work your way up. So number 1 is actually the first yin line in wind. Dredging constantly, omen of misfortune. There is nothing to be gained. Regret disappears. Unsteadfastness in conduct could bring one shame. Omen of difficulty. No gains are bagged in the hunt. Steadfastness in conduct bodes well for a woman, ill for a man. Agitating steadfastly, misfortune. There you go. So there's some crypticness for you, critical break. The I Ching, very cryptic, very cryptic. Okay. And we're going to check in with our beloved Benebell Wynn translation. So Master Hong translates it as steadfastness, Benebell Wynn, endurance, perpetuation, mutual assent. When there is alliance, internally, there must be constant movement. It's interesting. Think about that. Internally, there must be constant movement. That reminds me of the wind constantly in motion. Interesting. To be in a state of rest is to be in a state of decline and decay. Within you, the sage, you must pursue a constant state of transformation and change, though your outward demeanor should be one of conviction, firmness, and resolve. That is how you will endure. Seek alliance to ensure longevity and endurance. The establishment and honor of institutions bring perpetuation. Here you go. And last but not least, we're going to check in with Brian Brown Walker, our brother Brian Brown Walker. I want to thank him for this beautiful, beautiful, oh my gosh, I just love. And what I like about it, because I'm that type of person, my mother, and I learned this from my mother. You know how sometimes we see our parents are like, I am so not going to be like them when I grow up. I'm not going to do this or that. Whenever my mother, when I was younger, whenever we would get ready to go somewhere, she'd get her bag together. And if we're going to go visit someone's house or even just go out for the day, she would always, always take at least one book with her, if not two. And I found myself doing the exact same thing. I always have one or two books in my purse at all times. And this is the reason why I bring that up, because you have this beautiful 3,000-year-old plus classic in such an easy to carry. I want to show you guys something, because I always talk about how when you look at Kursan Hong's exact literal translation in comparison to what we are usually, getting stuff off my bookshelf. I really didn't feel like being on camera this morning because I have a lot of cleaning and stuff to do, and I'm in the middle of trying to renew my massage therapy license, and I have this 3-hour course that I have to complete online. It's like taking forever to get it done. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't really feel like getting all dressed up to get on camera. So, but you see Kursan's, he has his own first couple of pages. Just want to show you just how thin, so you can actually see what the I Ching is. It's not what we're used to. So this part of the book is all his commentary and introduction. And then this thin part of the book, that's the I Ching right there. And this is a beautiful, yes. Jasmine says, I always carry books with me too, also a notebook to write down thoughts, ideas, poems. I do that as well, Jasmine. You and I, we are cosmic sisters. So you have Brian Brown Walker. This is why this is so beautiful. He's giving you this wonderful interpretive translation that you can have with you. Now, this is what we're used to in America, in the West. See how thick that is? That is about 2.5 inches. This is like a 2-pound book. You can see me in the reflection there. And here's another. This one is by Taoist Master Alfred Hong. I would also recommend you get this translation of it as well. This is by the Complete I Ching, although the 25th, I think it's either 10-year anniversary or 25th anniversary. It comes in a red, beautiful red paperback version. And this is a definitive translation. I would also recommend this one. I'll just show you a little bit of what it looks like. This particular translation. So when you have these, when you have, you know, these big thick books, you can definitely appreciate what Brian Walker has done here, as well as, I don't see what I just did with my Benabel Wynn's translation. Oh, she also has a thin one as well, and a thicker one that I don't use unless I'm doing a, what do you call it, a reading. Okay, so I highly recommend this book, and it was a recommendation. Both Kursan Hong and Brian Brown Walker were both recommended by Benabel Wynn, and I must say, very good recommendations. All right, so 32, duration. Here we go. And welcome. All right, let me go ahead and stop for just 1 second and give a shout out to everyone. Welcome CB, welcome Jasmine, welcome Mari, welcome Paloma, and welcome Sir Tony. All right, hang, duration. Remain steady and allow the world to shape itself. Receiving this hexagram is an encouragement to endure, to move ahead by abiding in what is true and correct. It is not a time to let the ego swell with successes, nor to despair at misfortunes. It is simply a time to hold to the path of essential truth. It is likely that a change has occurred or is about to. It is your responsibility to hold your course and go on without regarding this change. Constancy in correct thought and action is the order of the day. Rather than letting your head be turned, simply hold steady on your spiritual path while the world reforms around you. Do not indulge in judgment, impatience, or ambitious thinking now. By concerning yourself only with what is essential and true and good, only with what is in front of you and your correct relationship to it, you meet with good fortune now. There you go. I think that's beautiful. And I think, you know, I feel especially as we reach the end of this Julian year, Gregorian, I don't know, what's the name of the calendar we exist on, January through December? You know, as we reach the end of this particular counting period, which a lot of us are oftentimes invested in, and it's okay. You know, there are many different paths. We got to remain steadfast, you know, take stock of what we've been through this year. Many people have had a very difficult year. Many people may have had a wonderful year. Stay steadfast in it. Hold your ground. Allow yourself to have that wind within you that's constantly moving and churning, and, you know, indulge in that energy. Don't judge yourself for however things may have turned out this year. Be okay with it. It is all beautiful. It is all a part of this glorious journey that we're on in this life. And we have to remain steady, remain balanced, remain at our center. And personally, I truly believe that our investment in love, it's what's going to continue to move us forward. And we go round and round that spiral, and spiral right back in again and right back out. And it's all good. Why the sad face, Mari? Why the sad face? Tell me. Why? And from our 64 Faces of Awakening, number 32, preservation. Goes along hand with endurance or duration. Jasmine says we currently use the Gregorian calendar. Okay, the Gregorian calendar replaced the Julian calendar in 1582. Thank you. All right, so I couldn't understand. I had Julian in my mind, but I knew it was Gregorian. And yeah, all right, there we go. Thank you. Jasmine is our librarian historian here. Okay. Okay, so here we go. The Wisdom Keepers. Another one of my favorite decks. Of course, you guys know that because I use it every time. So we are at 32, and I'm going to share with you Preservation's wisdom story. And this one I have to have close because it's printed in gray ink. As we listen to the great wisdom of our ancestors and of the indigenous tribal cultures, we will once again find our correct inner spirit. The gift is preservation. The shadow is failure. The city is veneration. My wisdom story. My younger brother and I were both trained in the sacred medicine tradition. We lived side by side in the rainforest, each with our own single camp. We always shared everything. We had served the same local community until a foreigner came to one of my brother's ceremonies and was so transformed by the experience that he spread the word far and wide about my brother's healing powers. Soon, people started flying in from all over the world to work with my brother. At first, I was happy for him, but over time, I watched his small camp turn into a retreat center and watched him travel to distant countries to share our medicine and tradition with strange people who knew nothing about our ways. He brought back objects and healing practices I didn't recognize. Even the way he pruned, weeded, and brewed the medicine seemed new. His plants thrived in ways that made me feel uncomfortable. A constriction and anger took hold of my chest. I believed this was because he was betraying our ancestors and that it was my job to preserve the traditions. When my students showed curiosity about my brother, I acted like a true fundamentalist, forbidding them from visiting his center, warning them against his tainted ways. When my brother reached out to me with gifts, I refused them until he gave up. My community shrank like my heart. Slowly, my medicine began to lose its potency. My prayers stopped working. The animals stopped communicating with me. I felt disjointed. I was as cut off from the great creator as I was from my brother. Sensing my soul's suffering, he reached out to me one last time. I was shocked to see the pain in his eyes. It had never occurred to me that his soul was also suffering. He had been missing me, my love and my guidance, and he had feared I had rejected and disapproved of everything he did. It was then I realized that my own fear of failure had blinded me to my brother's humanity. I took his hand in mine, and ever since, we've been each other's teacher, student, and best friend. Our community and medicine are thriving. My gift to you. This may not make sense, but it is true. When you refuse to receive, you are being selfish. If you truly long to experience success, then you must let go of the entire concept of success and failure. It is not your desire for money or outer recognition that you need to overcome. It is your fear of failure. I am here to encourage you to trust your instincts and reach beyond your comfort zone. The gift of preservation is all about preserving life itself, not just yourself. It requires that you learn from and ground yourself in the wisdom of your ancestors. It also asks you not to be afraid to learn and invest in something new or to receive from those who inspire you. It's time to look at your life and determine what and who are worthy of your energy and good for the whole. See what you want to keep alive and honor that with your whole heart. So there's a nice little meditation for us all to end this Gregorian calendar year. Honoring our ancestors, remembering where we've come from, but not allowing ourselves to be stuck there, to allow ourselves to grow, to reach higher. As those words just came to me, the imagery of a tree. This is what we all are, little replicas of the tree of life. An imagery of the tree came to me. And I was just imagining, I think of the ancestors, our ancestors, as the roots of the tree. And, the traditions and the ancestors is the roots of the tree and what provides the tree nutrients. But we can't only focus and want to, guard and preserve and only keep it there. We must allow ourselves to continue to grow and reach forward, sort of like that brother. I mean, on the one hand, like he did, he looked at what his brother was doing and bringing back these new things and going from just his small little hearth to a retreat center. We can think of that as maybe negative progress, but like the branches of a tree is reaching and nourishing and sheltering and bringing life and sustenance to so many. And it's so funny, as I was thinking of a tree, and I'm talking now, I happened to look at Preservation's face. And what do you see in the middle of his face? Right there on his nose. I don't know if you can see it very well. What do you see there? Can anybody tell me what they see? There you go. I see a tree. I see a tree growing up and twisting out and reaching out, and are allowing ourselves to stay connected to the tree of life and to continue to grow and branch out and reach out. That is what brings true nourishment. And it's interesting how it's right there at his nose, because nose brings us the breath of life that keeps our soul in our body intact, where we need to be right now, which is why we're on this physical plane. It nourishes us. It gives us breath. It's the Ruach Chodesh, the Holy Spirit. Ruach is spirit and wind. Spirit and wind. Breath. Ruach. So there we go. All right. And who would like would anyone like to tap into some animal energy of the animals? See what energy. I've never used these cards. Actually, I think I bought these cards last year or earlier this year. I can't remember, but I've never used them. So let me know if you would like for me to shuffle the deck and pull an animal card, spirit card for you. So if you would, go ahead and put yes in the chat room. Okay. All right. I take that as a yes, Mari. Okay. Hey there, Glenn. Okay. So we got Mari, and then next is Glenn. I haven't seen you in ages. Have not seen you in ages, Glenn. Hope you are doing well. All right, so this is for Mari. Mari, go ahead and drop into your heart center. Let's see what the energy of our animal brothers and sisters will have for you, a message from Spirit. And anyone else, if you'd like for me to pull a card for you, just put yes in the chat room. So I'm going to pull one for Mari. Whoops. All right. We got one that just dropped right out. So this is the back of the card. There you go. This is for you, Mari. Octopus. All right. Let me check in with the octopus. This is okay. All right. One moment. I'm gonna get to it. Like I said, I've never used this deck before, and you can hear me turning the pages, and I'll show you what the guidebook looks like. I don't know how I got all those schmutz on it, probably from me painting. Got paint everywhere. Octopus. And yes, this is an aquatic animal. So this is about reaching, yearning, or lacking boundaries or direction. And this is one of the water cards. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that's what it means to be close. If you notice, after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very bad habit to change. When in balance, interested, engaged, intelligent. When out of balance, needy, clingy, lacks courage. To bring into balance, space to oneself, and talk therapy. So I like this octopus because you know what? Octopi are extremely intelligent beings. They're extremely intelligent beings. And what I have a sense of, Mari, when I see this octopus and I'm thinking about you, I love that rainbow at his head. I'm feeling that, there's a lot of emotions that have been pulling you this way and that way. You have all of these arms all around you. There's a lot of interests and activities that you have in things, but there's this emotion that is that you've been surrounded in, these emotions, and these emotions are kind of pulling you in this way and that way. So you're being sort of encouraged to bring your tentacles back into yourself, not allow those emotions to get you a little bit off-centered, and stay focused, stay true within yourself. Mari says the first thing I thought of was ink. Do you do journaling, Mari? That could be a good way to balance your thoughts and your desires and the emotions that are pulling you this way and that. There you go. That's for you. If you're not into journaling or writing, maybe write yourself in the morning when you have a cup of tea or coffee. Write a few things down to yourself. Mari says, no, but I like tattoos. Well, go get yourself a tattoo of an octopus. There you go. All right, Glenn. Octopus, they are very fascinating animals. So Glenn, go ahead and check in with your heart center. And if anyone else wants, so you're welcome. Glenn, this is for you. And after this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and get going. I have a full plate today. All right, I'll do one for love magic, and then I have to go after this. So this is for you, Glenn. Spirit message for you. Cobra. Oof, Cobra. I like that one. Cobra. Okay. Let's check out Cobra message. And again, this is my first time with these cards, actually using them. Why not at the very end of the year? So Cobra, we're in the fire cards. Hold on one second. Cobra. There are a lot of fire cards, apparently. Cobra. pausing, waiting, the inner teacher. The cobra represents a teacher or spiritual guardian. The cobra hovers and watches, ever present, ever protecting, ever loving. The essence of the cobra is found deep within us in the form of the inner teacher and manifests externally in those special guides who've led us along our path. What would it feel like to be a student again? What are you ready to learn? Remember the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. While I was reading this, Glenn, the imagery that popped into my mind was that time when you and I were at the coffee shop and you were showing me how to tighten my djembe. Do you remember that? Take care, CB. Take care. Are you in touch with your passion, Glenn? Is there a passion? Is there something that you've been neglecting because people have been trying to tell you, oh, you shouldn't do this or that? Well, the Cobra is here to tell you that fire is here to spark you, to not lose sight of your inner passion. That's the message that I feel is coming through for you, through the Cobra and through the remembrance of that time when you tightened my djembe. Don't be afraid to nurture that inner fire. So that's your message to go into this new year. Because as you nurture that inner fire, nurture that Kundalini rising, nurture that part of you that is that creative process, that passion. Don't lose it. It's time to wake up that Cobra. That's beautiful. I have so much in my ancestral background. I probably do, Sir Tony. So Sir Tony says, hi, Tamu. Do you have Moroccan in your family because of your beautiful strange eyes? You are welcome, Glenn. And this last one is for Love Magic, and then I must get going. So Love Magic, your spirit animal. Message for you today, energy. Ooh, turtle. It's another aquatic being. Turtle. I like what I love about the turtle, so symbolic, is that the turtle has everything it needs with it wherever it goes. Its home is right there. Its protection is right there. Its own center of its house, its shelter right there with its shell. And I'm just looking at this one right here, and Love Magic. Don't worry about trying to find a place to fit in. Don't worry about trying to find your community or where you fit in and people accept you. You have within you, on you, around you, everything that you need. And when you focus on that place, that space of being, that center within you, you're going to magnetically and automatically draw to you whatever extra commentary is needed in your life. But in order for that to manifest itself, know where you are right now, within your own heart, within your own space. And that is your home. That is your home. You are safe and grounded and protected right where you stand. So that is the message for turtle, for you, surrounded in the water. Just emotions and feelings and that space of being able to nurture and create And I'm going to look up in the book as well and let you see what the author has spaced out for turtle, since I read that for everyone else as well. Ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. Oh, that's awesome, Love Magic. Love Magic says, I've been complaining about not having a lot of friends. Needed to hear this. Let me tell you, Love Magic, what my big mama used to say. When I would come in from playing outside all day, she'll be like, where were you? I was like, I was at my friend's house playing. And she said to me, you always talking about your friends. You always calling everybody your friend. Well, let me tell you, everybody ain't your friend. I remember that. My big mama said to me. That was like 1978, 1979. And those words, I was appalled when she said that to me. I'm thinking, these people are my friends. Here I am, 40 years later, still remembering what my big mama said, and it's true. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life. No matter where their travels lead them, turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us to close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. So there, that last line from this book, Love Magic, the most potent turtle energy helps us to close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. So I relate that to where, you mentioned that you're complaining about not having a lot of friends. Again, you have everything you need. Create from that space. Create from that space. And the true energy, the true people that are meant to be in your life and meant to be supportive of you, they will be there. But in the interim, and not even waiting for them to show up, know that you have, just as was mentioned up here above, you have that combination of the water magic and the earth magic, which is grounding, which is being able to trust, and you have it right now. So focus on that and that center within and being your own true friend. Because I tell you, you don't need a lot of friends. No, you don't. You might have a lot of acquaintances. You might have people that you can hang out with once in a while. But like Big Mama said, ain't everybody your friend. And when you focus on self and really creating and building up inside of your shell, and I don't mean shell in the negative way, meaning that you're keeping other people out, but in your own space of security and trusting and grounding and your own little hearth, that fire, that love fire magic that you carry within yourself, you're going to attract those one, two, maybe three at most true friends that will love you truly deeply for who you are and be there for you. But right now, you already have it. You already have it. All right. So thank y'all. So happy to have an opportunity to bring my Big Mama's teachings. Her name was Annie Lula Terry, Annie Lula James. She passed away, and I believe it was 1991. She was 104 years old, or she could have been 106. Depends on, exactly. Love Magic says, thank you for the wise words. I will stay focused and start writing. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay. So I am Tommy Magina, Priestess Heart. I'm really happy to be able to spend this last day of this Gregorian year with you. I hope that you found something here that was useful for you and youthful for you and wise and ancient and old for you as well. So let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have come before us. I wish you peace and great bliss. Until next time, keep going, and I'll see you next year.